Welcome back for those of you that are back. All right, it's time to implement this zip stuff, zip and unzip stuff, or at least delegate it over to the iOS side. Here we are, Rehearsal Pro, Kotlin Multiplatform, I don't know, 20, 21, 19, somewhere in there. It'll be labeled properly. Last thing we didn't actually, last video, we didn't make any changes to the iOS code. All the changes were on the Kotlin side here. And we got lots of whips. We're going to have to consolidate this stuff, but they're all whips until we have a complete working solution, which are not there yet. Why is this stuff all highlighted? Implement me for reals instead of this debug. Yeah, let's just run it, see what happens. Keep track of where we were. Replace it. I am playing some background music, but I don't think the microphone's picking it up, which is probably good. It's just to keep me chilled out here. So we go here, we go line sets, dropping in. Cannot be serialized because of error, could not be read because it isn't in the correct format. So we're trying to read it. It's not in the correct format. I don't think we're seeing any of our debugs. But what's interesting is it should have my fold over here, which was to prevent this thing from going more than once, is not working. Oh yeah, I remember the problem here. I see it. All right, just to bring you back up to speed, I really wish I could get rid of this crap. I mean, what is it complaining about? Kotlin not configured. Lambda argument should be moved out of print. Oh, this is the we want you to format it so that it's not an argument. This whole deal. All right, will you be happy if I do that? I don't know. I don't care. I don't like these warnings. Actually, let's see if we can turn that off. Settings. Let's see, there's something about warnings. Warning. Editor, general, errors and warnings, deprecated symbols, unknown symbols, weak warning. What is this? I think it's a weak warning because it looks like that. So these are the colors for the weak warnings. Let's see, weak warning, inspections, collection declared by test frameworks, assert equals, Java, JVM languages. It's got to be some way I can turn this stuff off. Maybe I really want to just turn it all off. I'm not a fan of this thing telling me what I should be doing and not doing. Inspections. Warning. Project default. What is inspections? Is that what it's doing? Is it inspecting my class? Android Lint, performance, Android Lint, Erlang. It's going to be under Kotlin because this is a Kotlin issue, right? Kotlin, there we go. Non-exhaustive wins, unused args, catch block, tensions, reader mode. I don't know. Let's just look for auto. Code completion. Automatically insert single suggestions. You know what? I just don't want any of this on. Show suggestions as you type. No, I don't want any of this. No, I just don't want any of it. I don't mind it removing trailing spaces. As rich text. Interesting. So many tweaks here. Groovy, Kotlin, Dart. What is all this? Postfix completion. Smart keys. This I definitely don't like. I don't like any of this stuff. That's why I really got to get outside the IDE. Highlight matching braces, that's fine. This is fine. See, none of this stuff is intrusive because it doesn't change the source. I don't want stuff changing the source. This is all fine. This helpful stuff is fine. Just don't mess with the code and don't give me all kinds of little warning highlights. YAML. I don't know. Let's look at this weak warning thing again. Inspections. Java, JVM languages. This is Kotlin specific. There we go. Code style Kotlin, Kotlin coding conventions. Load, save. Code style. What does this do? Is this the thing that's reformatting me? Formatter. Do not format. Well, let's just start.kt. Just don't reformat anything. This is all under editor. Code style, Kotlin. But is this going to get rid of the warnings? Okay, spaces. There's such a thing as too many features. This is too many features. I mean, this is crazy. You could spend a week going through this deciding how to tune it. But how does this get applied? That's what I want to know. I want to know how this gets applied. It says code style, but is it going to enforce it? Intentions. Intentions. This must be where it is. Yeah, look at all this. What is an intention? Kotlin Android. What is the thing we're looking at? It is lambdas or closures. Closure. Make closure call explicit. Convert method or closure parameters to map entries. Groovy style. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, I think this is all under Groovy. So it doesn't say anything about closure in Groovy. What is the actual warning here? What is the phrase they're using? Of course, modal dialog. This is why I don't like modal dialogues. All right, you can't do anything else. You got to close this thing out to get back at this. I think modal is one of the worst designs in UI. It basically puts you in a cul-de-sac. It doesn't give the user control. If has empty body, name shadowed, lambda argument should be moved out of parentheses. There it is, lambda argument. Okay. Lambda argument. Okay, so this is under intentions. That's what this is. Can I just turn off all of them? How about that? So let's clear this. I want to see this intentions. Space, backspace. Okay. So intentions, can I collapse this? There's a full collapse. Is that what that is? Full collapse. Okay, there we go. Kotlin Android. Yeah, so I want all this turned off. I want all that turned off. So that's what these yellow squiggly warnings are. They're intentions. Something's telling me how I should code. Let's see if it fails to be useful. It's still there. Not getting rid of it. Why is it not getting rid of it? Let's just try building and see if we can, that'll make a difference. It's still there. It's still annoying me. No, I didn't want it to do that. Okay, it looks like it stopped warning me. Did I just do an undo? See what changes we have here. Yeah, okay. All right, so the warnings are disabled. So now it's putting it in the margin, in the scroll here area. Well, no, it's still doing it. It's still doing it. But it stopped here. Why did it stop here? Did it make a change? Doesn't look like it changed. Oh, wow, this is showing me my actual phone. I don't want that. Don't show my actual phone. Stop it. Let's go back to emulator. Well, you know what? Emulator takes up RAM. I can use the actual phone. That's fine. All right, so we got very distracted here. It's still giving me these intention things. I thought I disabled that. Why is it telling me that? More actions. Let's see what more. Wow, look at that. Look at that UI. I hover. I try to go to the thing that's popping up to hover, but I can't because it then just disappears. This is what happens when you have too many features. You get gaps on the features that there's just no way to make everything work perfectly. This is a user error? Well, maybe. But it's still, yeah, see, I can't do anything about that. Intentions, Android. Now, let's collapse it all. This is not an Android. How about if I just disable all of these? There really should be a global switch that just turned the whole thing off. Let's try that. Tensions. General. Show intention bulb. Let's get rid of that. Inspections. Tensions. So it looks like I disabled it in general. Plugins. I don't even know why I have Dart on here. It's not like I'm going to be doing Flutter anytime soon. Well, I'll keep it around. Supply. Okay. It's still there. It's still there. It's not getting rid of it. Not resource manager project. I just can't seem to turn it off. That is really annoying. It won't stop. Get rid of intentions. I don't want intentions. I don't want this. This is bothering me. Groovy, Java, Android, Lent. I don't want any of this. Did I or did I not disable Kotlin? So it shouldn't be complaining about this at all. Okay, well, I guess I need to do a web search to figure out how to disable this. Where's intentions? I did a search, it shows up in here. Show intention bulb. Show preview for intention actions. Just kill all of it. I don't want any of this. Wow, I wonder if you just can't turn it off. Looks like I turned it off. Doesn't it look like I turned it all off? It's still there. I'm gonna restart Android Studio. Let's completely restart it. This is what I mean about being held prisoner by IDEs. Right, everybody wants the power features, but if you don't want them, they work against you. I don't want them. Yeah, I'm a troglodyte. I admit it. Did it work? Yeah, I had to restart Android Studio. So the apply switch didn't work. Okay, so I made some changes and I said apply, but obviously apply did not apply. Restart was required. At least I'll give it to Unreal Engine when you're inside the Unreal editor and you make a configuration change that requires a restart, it tells you that. It says I'm going to have to restart to make this change, usually like shader changes and things like that. So, yeah, guys, you need to work on your tools. Less features, better execution of the core features that are needed. There's just an absolute ton of excessive featureitis in this thing. Okay, I'm done ranting. Sorry about all that. Fast forward. Okay, so where were we? Yes, here's the problem. So I do a fold somewhere in here. There it is. There's the fold. Okay. Yeah, see, it's not giving me any tips or highlighting any of that. I'm on my own. I have to understand my own syntax, my own programming language. What a concept. So the reason I fold over this is because I have to fold over it. I'm replicating the lines. This little pop-up's kind of annoying. Why is it doing that? Maybe I have to turn that off as well. If I don't use the mouse, I'll just use the cursor. I have Vim emulation anyway. All right, so I'm folding over this collection of line sets that I returned back. Right, I'm obviously doing the replication for each one. But the reason I'm using a fold here rather than a for each is because I'm accumulating a value that when I get, because it's failing right now, I want to set this value to posted to true so that it only executes once. And what's happening is I'm returning true from this if block, which then falls through to the previous posted value. So unfortunately, this is an example where I have to use a mutable intermediate variable that I change. Because if I say return true from here, right, where's the return? Oh, there's the fold. So the fold begins here. So I'm applying this entire, so down there where it says posted. I can't say return true. I can't do it an early return here. I think it doesn't like it. It doesn't like having a return statement inside this lambda for some reason. Let's see. Or did it say there? Yeah. Oh, that's not the return type. Wait a minute. But I'm returning a Boolean here. This is the accumulator. We're doing a fold. We have an initial value of false. The accumulated Boolean is called posted. So when we first come in here, posted is false. If nothing happens, we return the previous accumulated value, which was whatever posted was, which is false in this case. And here I'm trying to return true. But this return is returned from what? From an if block? This is not a lambda. Like, why does it? Yeah, see, the return is applying to the function, not to the lambda. Okay, I'm being an idiot. I just need an else statement in here. Else. Yeah, okay. I think Kelvin Henney could beat me up about this. He doesn't like these isolated ifs without an else statement because you get exactly this problem, right? I really want to say return true or posted, but what's happening here, if this if is true and it posts, yeah, this needs to be an else because it's the final value from the lambda. And I've got another one here, which also needs to be an else. If not posted, let's just say posted. Yeah, because otherwise, when this true value is the last value pushed on the stack here, it's going to fall through and have this other value. So that should work. All right, let's try that. This isn't permanent. This is just a temporary stopgap so that it doesn't try to post more than once. Okay. Yeah. I'm guilty of the elseless if. Let's call it that, the elseless if. The elseless if. And we just rebuilt the Kotlin, and now we're firing up the iOS side. We should only get one little pop-up error. Where am I? Here, here, here. We got one. That's what we wanted. Okay. That's good. We don't need to save this. Okay. Yeah, this was just a to-do. We're just going to get rid of this code anyway. All right, deal with later, deal with later. Implement me for reals instead. Look at this, to-do, 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 to-do. I think it's a warning sign when there's more to-dos in your code than actual code. We do a remote post, and the issue is remote post is calling the modified version of the post call inside. Are we running? Let's stop. Yeah. Those kind of obnoxious colors, aren't they? Let's change that background. Let's get rid of stuff we don't need. Can we get rid of the guy on the left? I think we have to go all the way over, right? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that looks a little nicer. More code, less UI boundaries. File helper zip. So the issue is we're coming in here, we're doing this remote post call through the app platform. And this is generalized, expecting JSON as the data format. But in the case of get scene list, not the scene list, but the actual line, we got this zip thing here. That's an upload. We're doing a download. Upload. I mean, we'll obviously have to deal with it on the download as well. Download. Well, this is the only thing that we commented out. Upload line. Commented this out. Okay, so let's look at where the original was. It's in the synchronizer. There we go. Download line scene, it goes down to this guy here. Line set, that's not it. Upload, download, upload, download. Let's just finish the result. And no, it's in here. AF Network Manager, download line scene, yeah. Oh, I was looking at RS Network Manager. Here it is. Download line scene. All right, so here's where we do a post. Where's the post? Ooh. File helper, unzip data. Where's the post? Self, download URL. Okay, so it's not post, it's called download URL. Let's find it. And the download URL is a post. Parameters, there's a progress indicator, there's a success, there's a failure, because this is going to happen in stages. So probably what I want to do is I want to delegate to this directly rather than the post. Ugh. Download manager. Post. Who is this guy? There's a network manager, there's a network manager, there's a download manager, which looks like, okay, why do we have a download manager and a download URL? Why are these things separate? Why are they separate? These look like identical types. An HTTP session manager, Alamo Fire, manager, download manager. Okay, 2 instances, they look identical in type. Okay, what's the difference? This guy handles zip files, this guy handles JSON files. So that's what we're looking at. That's the difference. Okay, application zip, application JSON. Otherwise, they look identical, don't they? All right. And this method is a method on Alamo Fire. It's not our own method. In the case of the app platform, what did we do? We call RS Network Manager. We delegate to that. This is the Swift version. This is the object set to seed. So this is older code. This is newer code. Now we see the zip helper on upload, but it doesn't look like this network management logic was rewritten for download. I'm guessing. Upload scene, upload scene. Let's see what we get for zip in here. It's 5 matches. Upload scene. Upload line. Get scene. Unzip data. Well, there's download URL. File service. Is this a rewrite of this logic over here? I'm guessing it must be. Well, see, this is get it in. Remember, a scene and a line is the same thing. This is what's confusing. But we know that the original code is not going through here, is it? Let's do a search for get scene. Find grep. Actually, we probably have some in our stack. There we go. URL gets seen. Yeah, gets seen. Let's see where it's called. This is Swift, so it's going to have a open paren. So who's calling it? Scene synchronizer is the only guy that calls it. So the synchronizer calls the new Swift code, but anytime there's a direct manual invocation of a backend call, it's still going through the old Objective-C. So this is new code written specifically for the synchronizers. Can I use the new Swift code and ignore the old code? That's what we need to look at. Okay, so this is download URL. Let's look at download URL. So the network manager, it's all in here. It's all inside here. I'm wondering if I can delegate to that. Oops. Maybe I can get away with delegating to that. Download URL. Alamo file request. Custom HTTP headers. How does it deal with the zip stuff? It looks like it deals with the zip stuff after the fact. Yeah. So in the case of post URL, it handles the JSON marshalling within that call, I'm going to guess. Yeah, so there's post URL. So the difference between post URL and download URL, post URL goes out to a JSON API call. And as a result of the response, this response JSON, no, maybe it does. Well, here we go. If it's a success, oh, this is a guard. This always reads weird to me. It's like if is success, else. If is success, do nothing. That's what guard basically means. It means keep going. Continue if success, otherwise stop here, rather than saying if failure, return. Okay, I'm not deep in Swift, but I just don't see the benefit of that. Why is this easier to read? Guard response else. If not response, we don't need the else. Okay. Why is this syntax better to read than this syntax? If not success, do this. Guard success else. This just feels awkward to me. This is a Swiftism. I'm sure if I do a search, check some videos, there's some rationale for it, but semantically, these are two equivalent statements. Any other language is going to be written like that. Yeah. Yeah. Guard let, well, there's an if let. Yeah. I had the same issue with Ruby. Ruby has this thing called unless. I think this is a problem with trying to from a language design standpoint, the desire here is to try to make a programming language match more closely to spoken language. And I think this is a mistake. It's like an uncanny valley. The problem with trying to make a programming language close to a spoken language is it's not a spoken language. Spoken language is full of connotation, implicit meaning, innuendo. None of that exists in a programming language. A programming language is a specific, precise, exact declaration, definition, or set of instructions to the computer to perform something a certain way, to calculate something a certain way. There's no hidden meaning, there's no connotation. And I think trying to make programming more accessible to people, this is a mistake. This is why I prefer symbolic programming. I mean, why don't we, if we're going to try to make this an entirely language, why don't we say begin block, end block? Right? Or in the case of Ruby and Elixir, we literally say begin end. Actually, this by the way comes from Pascal, begin end. It's been around a long time. This is nothing new. But this is based on the logic of we can't burden people with the need to understand what an open brace and a closed brace do, because this is a symbol. Right? This is the argument people make against APO and array languages. Well, it's hieroglyphic. Yeah, but this is hieroglyphic. Like, what does this mean in English? Doesn't mean anything, right? It doesn't have any value in English. And yet we're saying, well, there's some amount of symbology, that sounds like that's from Boondock saying it's symbology. There's some level of symbols that we're willing to burden programmers with, but only so far. And the rest needs to be English. That's really a mixed message. If you're going to say make this an English language, then why don't you just make it all English, right? But a programmer has to understand this syntax. So this I'm just kind of going off here, but all right, up off my high horse. I'm going to get rid of this though. I'm going to leave it intact because I'm not going to break working code. But this is dumb. This is dumb. At some point, I'll do some rant videos to entertain myself and possibly others, but not here. I mean, I'm ranting enough, aren't I? All right, back to the problem at hand. So post URL, download URL. So on my rewrite where I call post URL, I'm thinking I should call download URL. So maybe I do a remote download. I don't like following this same sort of thing. Remote download. Really what I want to say is post. It's not even a post, it's mostly a get. But I think it's better to have this function, this procedure name match the actual thing that's happening. I'm doing HTTP post verb or a post action, or the actual terminology in HTTP is post method. So I'm going to keep it as a remote post, but I think we should say post JSON. And this is going to be post zip. Because that's the difference here. Although it's not posting the JSON, it's not posting the zip, it's getting the zip back. It's expecting the zip as the type back. Should we say post for zip, post for zip, post for JSON? Yeah, I'm going to do that. And then this is going to call download. So this is the one that's been set up to pull down the zip guy. Now I think we got some different parameters here, so let's take a look. Download URL, we have a progress object being passed. And under post URL, all right, so we've got URL parameters, right? That's fine. We've got a success failure, success So yeah, look at this is interesting, right? That's why I know this is JSON converts to a dictionary, because the success call is expecting to be passed the response as a dictionary, which means this does the conversion to a dictionary within the call, right? Post URL. We're not getting back a JSON text in any form. We've already converted the JSON to a dictionary, which we should see in here. Where's the success? This is being done for us by the post call to, this is manager, which we saw above is the Alamo Fire manager object. It's part of the Alamo Fire framework. We're calling its post, and on success, it's returning us a dictionary. So it is taking care of JSON conversion to a dictionary for us. That's what's happening here. So it doesn't need to be done by rehearsal. That's what we can see. And we simply pass this along already converted. That's why using dictionaries and storing dictionaries makes sense here, because that's encapsulated. The conversion to JSON to Swift / Objective-C dictionary is encapsulated by Alamo Fire. But in the case of download, our success is this generic thing called NS-data, which could kind of be anything. And what do we get back? We get a dictionary in this call, just like we did before. But there's something about it being a zip file. Download manager, URL get seen, parameters. So now we're passing a progress indicator. Here we're not passing a nil. I have to look at what that, this is upload progress. But this is a download, but it's passing an upload progress. Is it ignoring this parameter altogether? Looks to me like that's being ignored. Huh. So here's success. We're still coming back with the dictionary. So then the zip is being converted after the fact. Why does this look different than this? Success, task, response, dictionary. Success, no task. Where's the task object? Where's task in here? So in this call, post URL, parameters, progress, success, I'm getting a dictionary and I'm getting a task object. In this response, I'm getting the task object. I'm ignoring it. Here, I'm passing it. So here I pass the task back to the caller. Here I don't pass the task back to the caller. This looks fairly arbitrary. It almost looks like identical calls here. So again, we've converted to a dictionary. Well, maybe it's not a dictionary. Well, it is. Response dictionary is of NS-data. Maybe this isn't a dictionary. Well, all this is going to be replaced with Kotlin-based networking eventually. I don't need to improve this or rewrite it. It currently works for the iOS app. I'm just going to accommodate its weirdness for now, simply because I'm not writing the Kotlin network calls yet. So what did we do here with the... Yeah, we ignore the task here as well. So post for zip and post. Okay. Ooh, network manager. Yeah, there we're looking at download URL. Line synchronizer. Download clone line scene. So here's where we got the. So this is still handled inside the network manager. It's download line scene. Let's go back to download line scene. Maybe I should just make that one call for now. Well, this has to be rewritten. That's the problem. You can see it right here. Yes. So if I call download, if I make download line scene the platform call, then I have to rewrite it on the iOS side. So I don't want to do that. So this is exactly what I'm rewriting this now in Kotlin on the Kotlin side. Okay. So this is where we get this helper. So response data comes back as NS data, not as an NS dictionary. Okay. I'm still wondering if I can call, well, no. Yuckity yuck yuck. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do it like I was saying. So where do we have remote post? This is remote post for zip. Sorry, I can see that that font's small. I need to make the font bigger. View, increase font size, which is Control, Shift, period. Hopefully that's more visible to people watching, anyone watching. Remote post for zip, on success, present info dialog. No. This is a remote post. Oh, right. Right. I forgot about all this. Yeah. This was supposed to be remote post for JSON, but I'm trying to reuse this internal function for both of these calls. So maybe not so much. Well, it's because the error is the same in either case. I kind of hate to pass this as a maybe I'll make that a parameter. Let's keep it as remote post. I'm going to parameterize it on the platform side. Yeah, remote post. We're going to do it over here. We're going to take care of that distinction here. Yeah. Let's just say is zip is a zip for zip. URL parameters. Yeah, let's say for zip. That's the first thing. Yeah, we don't need both of these. Yeah, I want the distinction between the two different ones on this side. F4 zip. Now, if I remember correctly, in Swift, I don't need the parentheses around the if expression, but I do need the braces around the block, regardless of if it's a single line. So if for zip, it'd be nice if I could just, yeah, yuck. Be nice if I could just make the function name vary and have the call identical, but it's not going to let me do that because we have a bound named function here. So we're going to do an else. Oops. All right. If for zip is going to be, this is where it's going to be download URL. Otherwise post URL. It is download URL, correct? There it is. And it looks like the same call signature. Oh, no, it's a little different. Escaping RS success data, escaping common response void, failure, and then there's the progress indicator, which is not passed in here. And this is why I don't like. Okay, it's a little bit different. So, success data, failure status. The inconsistency is not a lot of fun. Well, let's compile this side and see what we get. Just gonna choke. Yeah. Obviously I gotta change signature. App platform, remote post, here we go. App mutant string, it's Boolean. Bool, bool, Boolean. Do I have any Booleans in here? It's one of the problems with jumping around languages. You can never remember exactly its uppercase. Boolean. Is it bool? Is it Boolean? Is it mixed case? Is it uppercase? Nobody wants to be the same. So app mutant Boolean, app mutant, app mutant Boolean string, which is a URL. Okay. We don't need to add the Android platform because it has a default. I don't think we did we? No, we didn't bother. We don't need to. All right, so that's the signature. Now, this might end up being Kotlin Boolean. Oh, yep. Sorry. Yeah. Actually, I didn't finish taking care of the code here. Yeah. Okay, so remote post is the zip false. Whoops. We have to actually pass this parameter in here. So it's for zip Boolean. Passing this over for zip. Okay. And then when we call here for this guy, we're saying true. It's a zip. It's a zip, and here we're saying false. It's not a zip. Yeah. All right, that compiled. And let's watch what it chokes on now. I can pull this over a little bit. Let's pull this whole thing over. Yeah, the Kotlin Boolean thing. Yeah. A little bit of friction in our KMP here. How about we just minimize that? Okay, goodbye. Yeah, Kotlin Boolean. to expected conditions. So isn't it like true or is true or something like that? How did we deal with Kotlin Boolean? This is where working on this several days in a row would help keep my brain engaged. Well, let's just look at the Kotlin file. I think it's in here. Headers, there it is. Let's see, Kotlin Boolean. Kotlin Boolean. Value. It's an interface, but it's a number. Init with bool. Do we not have a method that gives us an actual value? I think it's just value. NS number. It's probably just value. A Boolean becomes 0 or 1. What a concept. That's what an APL does. It just says it's a 0 or 1. I'm kind of agreeing with that. I think I just say value. No. String. Any. Oh, come on. How did I deal with this before? Let's see. Kotlin Boolean. Oh, this is not fun. I know I just dealt with this recently. You could remind me if you could talk back. It's called Rehearsal Boolean. Kotlin Boolean. How did I deal with this before? Nah. Yuck. Come on. I know I have code in here somewhere that deals with Kotlin Boolean directly. Is it Rehearsal Boolean? No. You're telling me I don't have anything that deals with it directly? There's got to be somewhere in here where I dealt with that. Come on, seriously? I've got a Kotlin Boolean. It's a number. It's an NS number. Do I need to just look up what an NS number is? It's pretty aggravating. Look at that. Tell me this doesn't feel very hacked together. And dot bool value. Let's try that. Okay, I got past that. So this is where our completion handlers types don't match because they're not the same in download URL and post URL. Cannot convert value of type data expected argument string any. So this is yes. So let's take a look at that. Download URL. Tell me this is easy to read. Tell me it's easy to follow all of these big blocky words separated by all the commas and dots. Well, I'm really on a tear today, aren't I? Complaining about programming languages and all these mixed colors. Tell me this is easy to read. All right, human compiler here. Alamo fire request, URL, method post, parameters. Response data. So I need to find success data. Now, when we're in Swift, Xcode will take us there. Otherwise, it won't. Okay, so response data void. Failure, status code, error message. This is almost this looks exactly the same on the failure side. And did I lose? Okay, it just opened it in a new place. The failure looks like the same failure guy here. Int string, yeah. So this failure status is correct, but the success data is different than the signature for success here, which is common response. What is that? I think that is a common request, which I think is a parameters, which I think is a dictionary. Yeah. Is there a lot of value in this level of repeated aliasing? I mean, it all boils down to, wow, I'm starting to sing the same song. This is, again, like the array languages, there's a one type, which is the array. You don't have to sit there and second guess the typing of the data. You always know what the type of the data is. Yeah. Common response is parameters, is a dictionary. Just say dictionary. All right, so in this case, it's a dictionary. In the other case, again, what is this thing? It's this data, and data is just pointer to anything, I'm guessing. Can't tell me what that is? Can you tell me what that is? No, Xcode says no. Can you tell me what an int is? Well, you could show me an extension to int, but you can't tell me what an int is. Can you tell me what a CG float is? Yeah, but you can't tell me what data is. Who makes a type called data? It's just like a pointer to any. It's an any, right? It's not really an any. Is it an any? Is there a thing called data over here? Well, more friction. Let's see if we just change it to any, if the KMP converter can deal with it. I don't think it will. I'm suspecting that it won't work properly. So our success is, instead of a dictionary to any, we're just going to say any. But I think data is not any. I think it's something else. So let's try that. URL, for zip, URL, parameters. I don't think this is going to be compatible. I think I've got to figure out how we map data to a Kotlin type. What don't you like? What don't you like? Boolean, string, map. Compilation error. For type. Ah, yes. Oh, brutal. Brutal. I have to vary the success lambda signature. Music's kind of loud. I don't know if you can hear it. I'm gonna bring it down a little bit. Oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Can I restrict? Let's not do that. Let's keep this as a dictionary. Because the beauty of that is I can push it into the dictionary. I don't really want to have two different types of posts here. But let's put this comment back in because we've got the Boolean. So we got 4zip. That's fine. Let's keep that. Let's keep this the way it is. Let's deal with it on the iOS side. Again, temporary is going to be replaced. I don't want to add new Kotlin code that I have to rewrite later. I'd rather hack it over here. So what am I passing in? Response. Download URL, success response, cannot convert value of type to exactly. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to pass a dictionary because that's what it's expecting. And we're going to say response. We're going to pass it as an any. So if it's data, it becomes an any. Maybe we should call it zip data. Or just call it data. Let's call it data. Let's call the type what it is. Yeah, I'm going to use lowercase though. Data response. Let's try that. Okay. It's working. It's working. It's working. Okay. So we got through the compilation phase. No, we didn't. We didn't give it a progress guy. He wants progress. So let's see how the original code is providing progress. Download cloud line scene. Download line scene. Success, failure. Wow. Download line scene. Progress. Is he passing in nil? What's going on here? Progress. Oh, this looks like a... Now I'm confused. Download URL. Parameters. Progress. What do we got here? Oh. This is a nothing. This is just the signature of the lambda in Objective-C. So this is an Objective-C lambda type. It does nothing. We're passing in nothing. Okay. Well, you pass in nothing. I'm going to pass in nothing. Interesting. So it looks like, I'm guessing, just as a side tangent, I'm guessing that this progress is used in the upload in the synchronization thing. Well, there's that download URL. But remember, I think we saw that it's not being called by anything. No, it's being called by the synchronizer. That's right. And in this case, he does provide a response, a progress guy. Remember, we're using the Swift version. We're not using the Objective-C version. So we are calling this. We are needing this, this guy. Yeah. progress. No, it's a percentage value. So so the framework's saying you're this many percent done. How do you want to deal with it? In the case of the original Objective-C code that downloads, it doesn't do anything with it. It ignores it. Where were we? Here. Yeah, we're doing nothing. We're getting progress and we don't care. And in the case of this guy, so who's calling download line scene? Oh, no, wrong one. Oh, this is at the top. I see. Okay, it's in the same file. Upload, download. Okay, so download URL. We did a search for download URL, didn't we? Yeah. And he's only getting called within this guy himself. Yeah, I mean, I guess we don't need to value add at this point. Dot download progress. Request, response data, download progress. Just the guy passed in. Let's see who calls him. Download my script. Value in progress value. So passing to a method called progress, which is of the progress. So let's find this. I'm going to guess this is a method on LRS Network Manager. Yeah, there's no confusion there. Look at that. Progress on progress on progress. I have to laugh. This is why naming matters. Maintainability. Let's go back to where we were. Confused. Download URL. Let's see who's calling you. 5 matches. Okay. I'm guessing progress comes in here. There we go. Download my script. All right. So every one of these is the progress handlers being passed in from somewhere else. Yes. Okay. Let's look at get scene, which I think we already have. Yeah, there it is. Get scene. Scene synchronizer. Shall we look at scene synchronizer? Line scene synchronizer. Okay, so now I need the file view that I got rid of. Let's just build. It'll give it to us, right? There we go. Rehearsal, source, legacy, Swift. Synchronization stuff is going to be under, where is it? It's going to be under UI app. Yeah. We're looking at scene synchronizer. Well, there's my scene synchronizer. Oh, I can see right there. NS object, scenes controller. Okay, so for scene synchronizer, which is under NS object. Okay. Download group, download scene. Again, the progress handler is being passed in. So let's see download scene. Being called only by itself. We're really having to wind our way out, aren't we? Download scene. Progress. Being passed into download group. Get group. Somewhere along here, somebody's passing a response progress from somewhere. Get group. Wow. Talk about deep down the scenes controller get group. Scenes synchronizer get group. So scenes controller is the only guy calling you. That's it. Scenes controller. Get scene, scenes controller. So that's where the UI is for that guy. UI view controller, scenes controller. Create update group. Get group. Hide download spinner on success. There we go. Update download spinner under scenes controller. So this is what happens when you get progress values. You call this guy. Image spinner set progress. Let's see how many places set progress is called. Makes it a little easier to read. Okay, here. Script picker controller, scripts controller. It's really only 3 places. Well, we already know that in the downloading of scene stuff, line scenes. We already know in the downloading of line scenes that we're ignoring progress because we saw that. We saw that here. Well, we saw it in here. Progress is ignored. But on the upload, which is happening in the other, under the Swift code, it's obviously tapping into the UI progress indicator that exists on these 3 controllers. So only in these 3 cases are we seeing a progress indicator being updated. Right now, are we in the scripts controller? Are we in the scenes controller? We'll have to deal with that at some point. I guess another to-do is coming. I sense another to-do coming. All right, let's fix that problem for now. Yes, this becomes, let's duplicate this. I think it's progress. And isn't it some kind of a float? Float? No, I don't have to give it a type. I just give it a name. Value. For now, I'm going to do nothing. Why I have to put, I'm a little thrown off as to why this is in parentheses. I don't remember. I'm not going to struggle with it. I'm going to say UI progress indicators are found in Swift UI view controller, scenes controller, script picker. Well, how do we know? Set progress. Progress trackers. Set progress are found in script picker controller and scripts controller. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, it's giving me a bunch of warnings. I'm okay with these warnings. Am I okay with these warnings? Let's look at the warning. Oh, that's because there's a return from this. Oh, that's how I get rid of these warnings. This is a really awkward syntax. This is how you know you're not dealing with a functional programming language. It's like, I've got a value. I don't know what to do with it. Oh, assign it to nothing. Because you're getting a value and you're not responding to that value. It's like, I don't give a fuck about that value. Ooh, I profaned. YouTube censor, YouTube censor. Yeah, that's how you get rid of that. Please assign to nothing. In other words, I don't care. It's not an error. I'm ignoring the value. Okay. Nice. So we don't get the error because we're going through the download URL and we're posting the result. We're just not doing anything with it. Data, length, bytes. Great. It's a little progress. Tiny little bit of progress. All right. I like that. Let's do a save point on both sides. Let's take a look at. Changes are pretty minimal here. We added this discriminating parameter so we can reuse the same internal function remote post for this JSON form and the zip form. We're not doing anything with the zip form yet, but always make a save point when you plateau. Save point. We just call it save point. That's fine. Git push GitLab. And we finally have made some changes to the iOS side. So we need some save points for that. Okay, so let's get rid of that. All right. Git diff. Yeah, yeah. Ooh, we got a little trailing space. I don't like trailing spaces. Whip 25 save point. iOS platform, app platform. remote post. I mean, this is just to help me remember what I was doing. Enhanced for download URL to get zip data. Ooh. Let's just double check this again. Did it? All right, get push GitLab. Save point. How we doing? We're an hour and 25 minutes in. I'm going to keep working, but should I keep videoing? I'm going to take a break and then we'll decide what we're going to do. So we're just going to pause. Let's pause. All right, I'm back. I just took a little break. We are now going to deal with the zip situation. All right, so instead of, let's go back to where we were, replication. We can stop this, don't need it. Get rid of that. Okay, so instead of posting this information as a debug, which is what I was doing. Present info dialog. Yeah, that's if it's an error. We show the HUD. We're not going to show the HUD yet. This is going to be a callback to a callback to a callback. So remote post, when we're done, we're going to do the zippity dip dip. So we're going to have this thing. Yeah. Using the mouse. Stop using the mouse. Be a keyboard guy. Shutter HUD. Yeah, implement me for reals. So yeah, remote post is, I could have just copied this. Unzip data. We're not even going to check it because it doesn't really check it. So we're okay there. And we're getting dict data. What if it's null? I guess we can keep the error thing in here. Well, no, that's, yeah, I guess I could wrap this. I should probably wrap this in a failure, just a local failure. Yeah, I probably should do that. So I am not validating that that's what I'm getting back, although I know that's what's going to come from the other side. I mean, I know for a fact what it's going to wrap as, because that's what we've got here, data response. As to what response is, not sure. So, yeah. This is going to be replaced eventually anyway with our own, yeah, all these platform function calls are going to be replaced. So I don't need to get excessive with the error checking here. But let's go ahead and add this unzip data. So I think we still want to have, well, let's take a look at what, here's this file helper zip, all this good stuff. I'm not replacing any of that right now. What I'm replacing is the use of it. Right here. File helper unzip data. Yeah, I called it exactly what it is. Yeah. Well, that's pretty straightforward. Look at that. I think I can just copy this. So if it failed, we're already handling the failure there. This is, yeah, a nested asynchronous call. Yeah. I think it's going to be pretty easy. I don't think we care about the actual file helper zip. Although, Right. That's what this guy's calling. So this is being rewritten on the Kotlin side, which I've already started doing. Download line scene. So this whole thing's going away. Yeah. Scene synchronizer, we don't want that right now. Yeah. All right, it's going to be unzipped data. It's going to be down here. Let's copy this code. Remote post. Still kind of the same logic here. So we'll copy this. And we're going to call this unzipped data. Unzip data. All we have is data. And we have a success and failure. All right. We're going to do a dispatch, asynchronous dispatch. From here, do I need to do that? Good question. Really should make all the platform calls asynchronous calls. Well, maybe not. By the way, I already have a wrapper for this. It's not pure, it's underside concurrency. Dispatch on main queue. Main async dispatch work item. Why does that look different than the other one? Oh, that's because this is being called from, this is the Objective-C code. Uh-huh. Yeah. But this is obviously a bunch of Objective-C code. I want to look and see how the Ars Network Manager is using the unzip stuff. Here we go, same logic. Download URL. It's the same. File service, unzip data. Response, scene. And this is where it gets yucky. So we're doing this. This is the alternative. So this is the Objective-C code. This is the Swift code. These are just placeholders for now. No, this is going to compile, so I'm not worried about it. All right, let's take a look at file service. Those file helpers were Objective-C. We're switching over to the Swift stuff. And maybe we should use the Objective-C because that's the code we are replacing. File services, foundation. No, I bet it's under UI app. No. Core data? No. Bound. Why am I guessing? There it is. All right. Unzip data scene. Only used. It's just a wrapper. That's all it is. It's just a wrapper. File helper. Where's file helper? File service, file helper. I bet that's in this guy. No, it's under file helper, just not this guy. Stuff is just smattered all over the place. Okay, does that look the same as the other code? Yeah, it's identical. So what's interesting is, yeah, it's called to the same thing right here. And it expects a line scene. Okay, so here's where it becomes tricky, because now it's expecting us to pass a core data object, which we don't have. Why does it want core data? I think it's just storing this as a file because it's a, yeah, we'll have to take a look at that. But the first question I have is, in this case, we're not posting it as async. The call from here does not post it as async. Download URL. Let's see if it posts its return handler as async. So success handler, no. It's not posting it as async. But that's because this is the actual result handler from calling element fire, which is going to be executing asynchronously. Is there an advantage to posting it on the main queue? Well, it needs to be posted on the main queue if it's going to do any kind of UI, because this callback is not necessarily happening within the UI thread. Or is it? I mean, the progress stuff is obviously happening within a UI thread because it's going and it's updating the UI. I'm guessing this is posted onto the main queue, this closure, right? This call to LMO fire. Let's see if there's any request. Oh God, this layer within layer within layer. Yeah, excessive abstraction. Man, I was so guilty of this. I'm starting to wake up of how much damage all this excessive abstraction does. I think the new rule is abstract only as much as necessary and no more. That's going to be my new rule. It comes from this idea of trying to make the logic of software as far from the machinery of its actual execution as possible, closer to the problem space and further from the solution space. It sounds like a noble cause, and that was my impetus from the early days of object orientation. Define the logic closer to the problem space and further from the solution space. So from the point of view of satisfying requirements, that makes a lot of sense. But what that leads to is a tremendous amount of layers of abstraction between the problem and the solution. On the premise that allows you to keep the logic from the problem side intact, stable, while fluctuating its implementation on the solution side. In other words, it protects the stability of the problem from the instability of the solution. Whereas when you don't have abstraction and you codify your problem logic directly in terms of low-level computer representation and machinations, then you're stuck to the instability of the solution side. Although, and honestly, the problem space is also unstable because of the constant desire to change features and how they work. But it's this whole that separation of concerns. The concerns of the problem shouldn't be the concerns of the solution. I'm starting to feel like it does more harm than good. We try to keep the solution space as far from the problem definition as possible. In order to do that, you're putting all this indirection in the form of abstraction, information hiding, representation hiding, black boxing. And then you're stuck with the maintenance of all of that. So rather than going directly from a problem immediately to a solution, you've got this intermediate layer of layers. You still have to deal with changes on the solution side when they occur. You still have to deal with changes on the problem side when they occur. And now you've got a third thing, which is the mapping between them. It's like the problem. It's like the ORM problem. It's exactly like that. A relational database does not look like objects with relationships. It looks like tables with keys and foreign keys and data representation exposed. An object is data representation hidden, and relationships, complex relationships between our objects, hierarchies, and peers being abstracted from the actual pointers that are used to implement them, such as foreign keys as a kind of pointer. Memory address is a kind of pointer. And an ORM basically says, look, we want the application to work with these objects. Storage mechanism is going to work in terms of this data representation. And we have to map between them rather than burdening the application with acting on the representation of the table data directly. It goes through this intermediate, which is an object representation of that data. An entire industry was built around that called the object database movement, which has effectively failed, just like Corba failed. The over-objectification on an entire industries has failed, and yet people are clinging, I was clinging to the idea that the OO approach was good, even though we have demonstrable industrial scale failures of this paradigm when applied extensively, abundantly. Corba was the idea that the distribution of computing should be done in an object-oriented fashion. Object databases were the idea that data storage should be done in an object-oriented fashion, even though ultimately the data will never be stored as objects with complex relationships. Right? I mean, that's what spilled out the XML database movement that became the NoSQL JSON-based, which is a lighter weight version of XML. I mean, that's what it transformed to. XML databases were like, we've got all this mixed data. I'm going off on tangents, but if you're interested and you're listening, I'm talking to myself here. But yeah, we've introduced additional work on the theory that it's going to save us other kinds of work. And it's just not demonstrating that. So, back to what I need to actually do. All right. Where the hell was I? Alamo Fire. Why did I even bother looking at that? Because I'm trying to figure out if I need to do this asynchronously or not. Tell you what, let's not do it asynchronously. Let's just not do it asynchronously. We can dispatch on main queue if we need to, but let's assume we don't need to do that. If it's a problem, we'll see that it's a problem. All right. So all we're going to do is we're just passing this control exactly this. This looks the same. There's no difference here, right? This is just the Objective-C version of that. Let's get rid of all this. We're not dispatching on the main queue. I don't think we need to. Yeah. So If let error equal how does that work? Oh, non-null. That's bizarre. So if it returns non-null, it's an error. Wait a minute. Huh? Error string equals this. Oh, I get it. It's going to return null. Okay, ew, that's pretty gross. So I actually want it to return null. Like success is returning nil. Not sorry. We're in Swift Objective-C land. It's not null, it's nil. If let error, okay, got it. Failure error. Okay, that's gross. Yeah, it's kind of gross. I like how this is wrapped. I don't think I need actual. I don't need that. Oh, that's right. This is Swift. I have to wrap it in. Yeah, I have to wrap it. Okay. I probably look like a psycho to anybody watching this right now. All right. Return success. That makes sense. That's why this is weird. It's I mean, doesn't this just feel really unnecessary? That's what we're looking at. So this is that example of not using an else and having a fall through. You're counting on the fact that the true block of the if is enacting a return here. Why are we returning anything? Dispatch on main queue, return. Why are we returning anything? Why aren't we just executing these closures? There's no return value here. Download URL. Sorry, I'm not looking for download URL, I'm looking for download scene, right? I lost my place already. RS Network Manager. Why am I having a hard time with this? Unzip data. Unzip. There it is. Get scene. There's no return from here. I'm confused. God, it's really hard to see what's going on here the way this is all laid out. Let error equal. See, yeah, here it's executing success. In the case of error, it returns error. Returns it to who? I'm having a hard time reading this. Download URL. These are the parameters. Here's your success parameter. Here's your success, which goes from here to here. Wait. What? Oh, the success goes from here to here. I can't even follow this. Response in, unzip the data, return failure. if error, return failure. This return is returning to this call. I don't get it. I'm really confused. Download URL. I don't get it. I don't get it. All right, let's just look at the, this is the Objective-C version of this function. There's a bool. Okay, there's a bool being returned. Return failure, same problem. Dispatch async. So this is asynchronous. Who's this going to return to? What is this returning to? Returning to who? Error string. If error string, return failure. Otherwise, return success. I don't get it. Who the hell is this being returned to? The asynchronous queue? I'm putting this on the main queue. This is a closure that's void, right? I do not get this return. Success is a void For starters, the success and the failure both are in of themselves void closures. They don't return anything. So to call success, which returns nothing, and then return the nothing, failure, maybe I'm not understanding that syntax. This is really bizarre. I call getScene. I pass in as an escaping closure, response empty. What the hell? Response empty. It's void. I'm giving you a closure that you call that takes no parameters and returns nothing, returns void. I'm invoking that, and then I'm returning it? That doesn't make any sense. Well, there's no return here. So in the case of getScene, it's calling, okay, in the case of success, right, we update, we succeed. We're not saying return here. We're saying just success. Execute it, it does nothing, we're out of here. But in the case of calling the unzipped data, when this fails, I get an error string. And if the error string is not nil, I'm going to return failure. I'm not just going to execute it. I'm going to return it to who is this being returned? How is the compiler even allowing this? Because there's a return here. So there's two failure returns. But I'm looking at the signature to getScene. I see argument or parameter, success parameter, failure parameter, progress parameter. I'm not seeing any return type here, right? Shouldn't I see a right arrow if there's a return type? Like that, right? Is it inferring a return type? How is the Swift compiler allowing this return Shouldn't it say there's nothing to, you can't return anything because it's is void? This, let's see who the callers to get seen are. All right, we're looking at, all right, so there's one get seen. Yeah. Let's see where he gets called. Never gets called. That's just the definition. So he only gets called in two places. Scene synchronizer, scenes controller, get scene. Oh, this is another function. So there's a get scene, and then there's a get scene, which calls this get scene. Scenes controller. Well, let's look at scene synchronizer. Where did we find you? In this object? Yeah. Get scene. Is this not calling? This is a different get scene. Has nothing to do with the other one. It's okay. Yeah, so called. Whoa. Get scene, success, failure. God, this is why the Swift is doing this too. Look at how hard this is to follow. Okay, get scene takes 4 arguments. It takes a scene as the first argument. It takes the success closure as the second, the failure closure as the third, and the progress closure as the fourth. But in this call here, is it really obvious to me that this is a closure, and this is a closure? Like somebody just decided because the last argument, the last parameter is a closure, lambda closure, I can use this special syntax where I don't pass it as an argument within the parentheses, but I append it as if it's like a block, like a code block, as if this was an if statement. This would be like if then, right? Look at how hard that is to follow. This is why in Kotlin and Swift, this is stupid. This makes code unreadable. This makes code really unreadable. I'm going to do some rant videos. Well, they're going to be independent of the other stuff I'm doing. This is my rant video. This is dumb. Yeah, I don't like it. Anyway, this is a call to void returns nothing. So it returns nothing. Like, what if I do this? Let's do this. Let's do the assign to nothing. Because that guy's returning something. Should give me an error. Oh, this is, we have to, I can't do compiles, so I'm in the middle of breaking code. Let's just, all right, let's, phew. Okay. I don't care. All right, that compiled. I'm just trying to figure this out. It's amazing how strict Swift is on some things and then allows other things that make no sense to fly through, assuming that's the case. I'm leaping ahead here. Yeah, this is all broken. Let's do away with it for now. A lot of broken code. I gotta figure this out. They let us get away with it. What the hell? Okay, where did I change it? I changed it here. Let result. If result. I don't know. Let's just see if the result is a Boolean. Look at that. So what is this type? Well, if we were in Kotlin, this would be called unit, otherwise known as void. Uh-huh. So what that means is this function that doesn't have a return by default returns unit. Wow, that's obscure. So any non-returning function in Swift by implication returns unit. Kotlin's not like that. Kotlin would complain. It'd say a function that returns nothing, but in Swift it returns unit by default. I'm actually going to look that up. Let's see, Swift. Well, let me do it over here so you can see what I'm doing. Sorry, I was thinking of doing it a different way. Okay, Swift function without return type returns unit. How about just without return type? Let's see if unit is in here. They don't call it unit. Return type. Aha. Empty tuple. So Android and iOS are very different in they're almost identical in terms of what they do, and they're very different in terms of how they do it. Because Google doesn't want to be like Apple, and Apple doesn't want to be like Google. I mean, essentially, in the end, other than just arbitrarily being different. Kotlin calls that unit. I like how this is a note. Oh yeah, by the way, just, by the way, in case you were curious, not like it's ever going to come up or anything. But yeah, if you don't declare a return type, it actually has a return type with a special value of type void. This is simply an empty tuple, which is written as, oh, I'm sorry. They do call it void. So instead of void, it's unit. So that means you can put a return statement in any function, as long as you return void, you can return void. The return value of a function can be ignored by assigning it to nothing. Function says it return a value must always do so. A function with a definer can't allow control to fall out of the bottom of the function without returning a value. You can return tuples. So void is a tuple of an empty tuple because you can return tuples. Yeah. I think that's a source of a lot of confusion, unnecessary and ugly. That is my opinion on the matter. Goodbye. Yeah, I won't be going my way to write code in Swift when I don't have to. Right now I have to. So back to what we were looking at. So this return of failed makes no sense at all. So I ain't going to do it. I ain't going to return nothing. I'm just going to execute failure. So what's interesting here, this is why, again, I don't know if it makes dispatching this asynchronous is necessary. I mean, I know that it's going to be called over here from the callback of originally an asynchronous network call, where whether or not LMO-Fire posts these callbacks onto the main queue, the UI thread, the UI queue, is encapsulated within LMO-Fire, since I'm not doing it here. And I mean, there's no harm in doing an additional post. Not really. It's intended to be. I mean, the fact that you're passing continuations or callbacks implies that it's an asynchronous call anyway. But an immediate execution makes this not synchronous. Right? This file service unzip data. This guy, let's see if the work it does is actually asynchronous. So can we go to definition? We should be able to. There we go, unzip data. Again, file helper unzip data. It's the Objective-C. Let's see. I think our file helper, yeah, it's weird. It's weird that it's under UI app, but that's because it has a dependency on the app object. So there's unzip data. Scene, line scene. Ooh, this is where I replaced it. Yeah, this is what I have to rewrite this. Yeah, I'm not even close to done on this part. Look at that. This takes scene. It's casting. And remember, this is an error if it fails. Well, so I haven't rewritten this. Unzip filelet path. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Let's just put a placeholder and then a question mark. It's a to-do. We got lots of those. Needs to be async. In other words, dispatch on main queue. Dispatch on main queue. So here's our problem. Oh, it's not response, by the way, it's data. And our main problem is this guy right here, scene. Well, our line scene is a domain object. Our line set is the one thing that's not, right? No, we replace line scenes as well. It's no longer a core data object. It's now just pure JSON. Right? Line scene, yeah, line scene has been deprecated. So can I just pass the JSON? Would that be okay? Do I have it? I should have it. Yeah. Right there, line. So line scene versus line scene. A line scene is a scene embedded within a line, but it's a scene. So there's top level scenes and then there's line scenes. So really line scene here is a scene. Set lines. This is so confusing. Okay, but the good thing is I have the line. So I could pass it. I got the dict data and I've got the line. So this isn't just unzip data. This is unzip data line scene. I think it has to be qualified as line scene. Or I guess it's just a scene. So going back to, where the hell was it? The unzip thing. It's here. Okay. There's no difference between scene and line scene. This I don't get. Line scene and scene are fully compatible. If I call unzipped data scene, oh, this is a cast. It's casting this. Is line scene a superclass? Please don't do that to me. Of scene. How can it do that? That looks effed. Oh God, I hope I don't have to do the full scene thing as JSON. It's core data. Scene. Scene. Interface scene. Is line scene supposed to be a subclass of scene? What the heck is going on? There's line scene. This is Objective-C interface called line scene. Right? God, I hate this header that includes, whoever thought this was a good idea. No, not a good idea. Core data class. Oh, there we go. There's the top level. Look at that. Look how confusing that is. Interface line scene, core data properties. Interface line scene, colon NS managed object. Okay, so this doesn't have scene as a superclass. But does scene have line scene as a superclass? Oh my God, please don't do this to me. Now, so there's scene, NS managed object. It's an interface that has properties. Wow. Wow. Scene. There's no reference to line scene anywhere in here. How the heck does this compile? Unzip data. Let me see how I understand Objective-C syntax correctly. This returns an NS string reference. Takes an NS data reference, parameter name, response data. Takes a scene, type, scene reference, scene. Oh, I forgot, it's like scene. This is the argument name, this is the parameter name. This is what it looks like to the outside, this is what it looks to the inside. By the way, the creator of Gleam thought this was a good idea to imitate this logic from Objective-C. The double naming of arguments / parameters. So when we're inside here, we're calling file help, we're calling this method, passing the same compatible response data. But for line scene, we're passing a cast from scene to line scene? How is that possible? Let's see if we can just do that. Cast it to a script. Oh, God. Yes, I know we're not ready. Okay. Oh, yes, I was just messing around with this whole thing. Right. So much awkwardness in this. Okay. Yeah. Oh no, I'm not ready to do any of this yet. I am doing forensics. Whoa. Gave me an error, but then it started. Oh, okay. Why is it working? Did I not break this? Incompatible. Okay, I'm going to take a break. I will return. to the same bat channel. Pausing.